Um, it did it again. Hey guys, it's me, Giovanni, and um, after I made my video 2 days ago, which now my schedule is like do a video each a day, so like 2 days or 1 day. I don't know, but anyways, after I looked my video, my storage on the screen recorder app, my internet storage has gone completely haywire, probably ever since I haven't made a video in like a week, ever since I was staying at my mom's for that week. So yeah, and my screen recorder app is acting up again, but I just don't care anymore about it. It's fine. But anyways, I decided to read a Wattpad story, finally. One of my old Wattpad stories that I actually wanted to read for a little while. I actually thought of this, and you know what? I decided to finally get into it. So this is The Werewolf Next Door. I originally wanted to make a Gotcha Club movie on this, but my internet storage, the apps that I use, it's a complete mess, and I just don't want to. I'm sorry. But I really want to on my new phone, just in case. But anyways, The Werewolf Next Door is basically about me and Joe Wingo. If you don't know who he is, he basically makes some horror movies with The Sims and Grand Theft Auto. And he's a really nice guy. He's also gay, which is really cool. So let me read the description. May 1963. May 26 is going to be the full moon and the lunar eclipse tonight. Giovanni Marcello Esmu, which is me, a sensitive and emotional 17-year-old teenage boy, has a friend who lives right next door to him. His friend / next door neighbor is Joe Wingo, a year older than Giovanni. Giovanni gets petrified when a werewolf keeps on taunting him, which was the original concept. He doesn't know who the werewolf could be. He better find out soon before someone dies. Spooky. And if you know this art that I'm using for the cover of this story, this is one of Joe Wingo's art, which is also on DeviantArt and Instagram, where it's basically like him having a pet werewolf. I'm sorry, Joe Wingo, if I used your artwork without my permission. I'm only saying to you and not to Kat because I hate her, and she honestly just deserved to have her fan art be turned into a Wattpad story anyways. So, what the fuck? But anyways, let's get into it. Oh, and as you're wondering right now, ignore the frame. When I was testing out making a story, or probably reading a story on Wattpad, the frame, let's just say I accidentally did this, and I cannot reverse it. There's no way how. So it's just stuck like this. But anyways, chapter 1. May 24th, 1963. A young guy named Barry was gonna go to the kitchen when he heard something upstairs. He was the only one who lived in his house, and he knew that he didn't invite anyone. So he decided to investigate what was that noise coming from? What was that noise coming from upstairs? However, a monster appeared and from the corridor and clawed Barry's chest and eye. Barry collapsed down the stairs, dying, covered in blood and claw marks of a wolf on his eye and stomach. He closed his soulless, darkened eyes, dead on the staircase. Chapter 2. May 25th, morning, 8:10 a.m. My girlfriend Tanya and I were walking to school. Tanya has been my girlfriend ever since I entered 11th grade. Tanya tells me that Barry was murdered last night. I was shocked by what she was saying. Did the police know about it? Know who did it? They don't know, but tonight is gonna be a full moon, including a lunar eclipse. I know, but I'm kind of scared because werewolves appear during the full moon. Maybe. Chapter 3. Evening, 5:50 p.m. Tanya and I were talking on the phone. How are you doing, Giovanni? Not very good. I'm really sad about what happened to Barry. I can't believe he's gone. I know. He was so nice to everyone, including Joe. Yeah, and surprisingly, Barry told me that he actually had a crush on him. Well, that would have been wonderful. Do you think someone or something would try to hurt Barry? I don't know. Well, if you want to come to my house, don't hesitate. It must be really scary being home alone. Thanks, Tanya, but don't worry, I'll be fine. Okay, bye, Giovanni. I then took a nap on the couch because I was getting tired. Chapter 4. It was now 7:30 and I was reading a book. I heard the phone calling right near the stairwell. I picked up the phone and I heard someone heavily breathing. I stayed there still and slowly dropped the phone out of my hand. I decided to go upstairs because I felt like someone was watching me from the living room. My parents weren't home, so I decided to go upstairs. I said that twice. Sometimes I don't know what's wrong with my own stories. I just make little mistakes like that. But it's fine. It's fine. I took a knife from the kitchen to defend myself. Luckily, no one was in my house. I went to my bedroom and locked the door. Then at 11:09 p.m., 59 p.m., when I fell asleep on the floor, I heard a wolf howling. But it was odd because a full moon wasn't supposed to be tomorrow night, was supposed to be tomorrow night, including a lunar eclipse. I looked out the window from the curtains, and the moon wasn't full. But then I saw something near the tree. When I looked out the window, I saw it, a werewolf. It was supposed to say I never seen anything quite like it. That was an autocorrect, I guess. It had darkish brown fur, yellow glowing wide eyes, and a sinister smile with sharp teeth that had blood on them. But the blood on its teeth, it was Barry's blood. I freaked out. I quickly ran outside where the werewolf was, but when I got there, it was gone. I didn't know who the werewolf was. Chapter 5. The next day was the full moon. The next day was the day of the full moon tonight. I was walking to school with Joe Wingo. Joe is my next-door neighbor and one of my good friends. I told him about the werewolf I saw last night. Did you know who it was? Who else would it be, Joe? Who else would the werewolf be, Joe? I don't know. Later that night, it was going to be the full moon any moment. I felt like I was going to die. I got a phone call. It was the same thing like yesterday night. Someone breathing heavily, but then I heard the person growling, and then they whispered, "I love you, Giovanni." I was so confused, but I was also scared. But just then, I turned around to see the werewolf grinning at me with his glowing yellow eyes. I quickly ran away from him and went to Joe's house. But then I went near the dining room, and there were dead bodies laying on the floor. It was Joe's adopted parents and his sister Alyssa and Barry. I got a knife from his kitchen, and the werewolf was standing in the doorway. He quickly charged at me, and he collapsed on the floor. When he charged at me, I pointed the knife out, and the knife stabbed him in the stomach. I saw his eyes staring back at me. He was crying. His wide, open yellow eyes faded to darkened green. And then the brown fur disappeared, and there was Joe. He was almost naked, covered in so much blood, including his mouth. My next-door neighbor and good friend was a werewolf the entire time. I felt horrible and started crying, weeping, sobbing. I kneeled down on the floor and gave Joe a kiss on the lips. I lay down on the floor right next to Joe. Joe was dead, gone, just like that. I was a wreck. I was silently crying, and then I heard his voice say to me, "I didn't want to hurt you because I love you, Giovanni." I was still crying, and I whispered to him, "I love you too, Joe." And then I closed my eyes. So part of this was in the story, or the movie that I wanted to make. There was supposed to be a fire in Joe's house, probably from a gas stove or electric outlet or something. But I don't know. Chapter 6. The next morning, I woke up in the hospital in a bed. "Where am I?" "You're in the hospital, sir." I quickly saw Tanya standing right next to me. She was upset. She hugged me tightly in her arms. "I was so worried about you. I just can't believe that happened to me. I know. Joe really loved you, Giovanni. But I know that I'll always be your girlfriend. Thanks, Tanya." The end. So, now that I was thinking about the story, I actually wanted to add Joe's brother, Crystal. Joe had a brother named Crystal who died from his father by basically drowning Crystal when Joe's parents were on drugs or something. I don't know, but Crystal is exactly like Joe, except he has blue eyes, which I thought was really nice. It makes Crystal more mysterious looking. I don't know why, but it does. I do have a short story version, but I didn't finish it in time. But I will read the short story for you, or try to read it by myself without actually trying to well, you might know when I actually make the video about it. So yeah. Okay, that's all that I have for you today. And Chowingo, if you're watching this, I hope you like this. Okay, bye.